Namaskaram. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Welcome to day 14 of Dhanur Dhya Sadhana. Today is Ravivara, Sunday, a day dedicated to the worship of Surya Devata. Our focus for today is going to be the symbolism of the lotus that blooms under the light of the sun. At first dawn is when the lotus starts to bloom, and as the sun ascends in the sky, blossoms to its fullest size. With the waning of the sun at the end of the day, the lotus closes again. This is going to be the focus for our practice today. Shri Krishna Vagishayatishwarabhyam Samprapta Chakrankana Bhashya Saram Shrinut Narangendra Yatau Samarpitaswam Shri Krishnamaryam Guruvaryamide Virodhe Kartike Mase Shatatara Krutodayam Yogacharyam Krishnamaryam Guruvaryamaham Bhaje Krishna Suri Daya Patram Jnana Vairagya Bhushanam Srimad Venkatanatharyam Vandeham Yoga Deshikam Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. While flowers in general are considered to be very special in the Indian tradition, especially in the context of worship, there is one flower that occupies a very special place. This is the lotus. It blooms in two colors, the white and the pink. Typically, when we look at the imagery, the iconography, the representation of all the devatas in this tradition, they will be seated upon a lotus, or there will be lotuses in the vicinity. Most commonly, we see the use of the lotus with the representation of Mahalakshmi, who is considered to be like this blossoming lotus. But we also see Saraswati seated on the white lotus. We see Krishna, Mahavishnu addressed as Pundarikaksha, the one whose eyes are like the petals of a lotus. Similarly, we see, for instance, in Tulsidas Kriti, very beautiful bhajan of Tulsidas, Shri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhajamana is how it starts. It says, Kara Kanja Lochana Kanja Mukha Kara Kancha Pada Kanjarana. Speaks about how every aspect of Rama is comparable to the tenderness of the leaves of the lotus. When we look at the spiritual significance, the lotus symbolizes transcendence, symbolizes vairagya. We are here to live out our karma. Naturally, as we, in the course of living, we get entangled in life and life processes. We get caught with it, the pull of sukha and dukkha, giving rise to raga and dvesha, filling our minds with the kleshas. Now, this is our reality. We are rooted in this mundane, but we need to blossom to our greatest magnificence, to our highest potential. And that blossoming is what the lotus represents. Pankaja is one of the beautiful terms to represent the lotus. Panka is slimy mud. The lotus blossoms out of that. So she's called Pankaja, and yet remains above. The beauty of the lotus takes our attention away from the very slimy, filthy nature of the water that the lotus blossoms in. And so the lotus remains a metaphor for vairagyam, for the highest level of dispassion, discernment, a blossoming upwards and outwards. No matter where we are, no matter how we are rooted, no matter our situation, the lotus represents the possibility of rising above, blossoming to the fullest magnificence of our potential under the light of the sun. We can bring this spiritually as well, the blossoming of the mind to its highest potentials, when filled with the light of the Purusha, when the Sattva glow, the Sattva radiance of the Purusha floods the mind blossoms to its highest potential. In the Gita, Krishna tells us, Padma Patra Iva Ambhasa, how do we navigate through life like water droplets on the leaf of a lotus with detached attachment, with detached engagement, going through life, living life fully, doing what we do very well, complete attention with involvement, and yet not becoming attached, just as the water droplets roll off the oily surface of the lotus leaf. We see everywhere representations, as I said, of the gods and goddesses on lotuses, adorned with lotuses. These are representations of Mahalakshmi. Holding lotuses, lotus buds in the hands. The Narayana Suktam speaks of Paramatma as a tiny flash of light seated deep within the inverted lotus bud, representing the heart space. We will explore that imagery in a practice later. What does this blossoming represent? Mahalakshmi herself is compared to the lotus. She is Padmini. And what does she represent? She represents the greatest power, Saubhagya, abundant blessings, fertility, growth, creativity, abundance, wellness, all of this that is known as Daivi Sampat in the Bhagavad Gita, the blossoming of all our auspicious, noble qualities that lead us from a very mundane existence to the highest possible consciousness that we as humans can function in. This is what Mahalakshmi represents. She represents this blossoming of our body in terms of arogya, of wellness, of our speech, in terms of flawless erudition, mastery over Vak, and the rise of the mind, a mind that grows into its highest power and potential. She represents all the siddhis that are attainable through yoga sadhana, but she also represents the need to transcend them, to transcend the materiality, the very ephemeral nature of our siddhis, the powers we possess, so that our work, our attention is directed towards something beyond. That is true Saubhagya. Wellness here, transcendence, realization, enlightenment beyond. As the Sri Sukta says, Dhanam Dhanyam Pashum Bahuputra Labham Shatasam Vatsaram Dirghamayuhu. Vidya, Kirti, Arogya, Jaya, all of these are the material benefits that Mahalakshmi represents as a blossoming lotus. She brings wealth, abundance of food, cattle, children, grandchildren, pursuit of knowledge, fame, victory, and a long life. But she also grants us the Daivi Sampat, which are represented as all the noble qualities that we are to cultivate in our mind. Chapter 16 of the Bhagavad Gita speaks about Daivi Sampat, all these qualities that we must cultivate. Ahimsa, Satyam, Akrodaha, Tyagaha, Shantihi, Apaishunam, Daya, Bhuteshu, Avaloluptam, Mardavam, Krihi, Achapalam, Tejaha, Kshama, Dhritihi, Shaucham, Adrohaha, Na Atimanita, Bhavanti, Sampadam, Daivi, Abhijatasya Bharata. These are the Daivi Sampad, the highest divine qualities that uplift us from a mundane to a magnificent, glorious existence where life is celebrated and we come into our own as spiritual beings of great power. To translate into English, non-injury, non-violence in thought, word, and deed, truthfulness, the absence of anger, renunciation, control of the inner faculties, absence of malevolence, compassion to all creatures, non-covetousness, gentleness, modesty, tranquility, vigor, forgiveness, fortitude, purity internally and externally, freedom from arrogance and malice, all of these, an absence of haughtiness, these are the most important, cherished qualities that we are to cultivate. And it is Mahalakshmi that helps us allow these to blossom within us. Mahalakshmi is also revered in the form of the Ashtalakshmis. You have Mahalakshmi, Adi Lakshmi, Dhana Lakshmi, who is the repository of all grain, of wealth. Dhanya Lakshmi, she is the one who gives us all manner of food. Gajalakshmi, the one who served by elephants, representing tremendous Aishwaryam, tremendous power. Santana Lakshmi, the one who grants us children, the succession of lineage. Veera Lakshmi, the one who gives us vigor, clarity, conviction to press ahead on our path. Vijaya Lakshmi, the one who bestows victory. Aishwarya Lakshmi, she gives us all forms of abundance, material and spiritual. Iha and para Saubhagya is conferred by her. Our practice today is going to focus on this concept of the lotus and of the blossoming of the inner lotus. As I chant the Surya Namaskara mantra, I'd like you to first sit comfortably, take a few deep breaths, settle down. I will be chanting the Surya Namaskara mantra. I'd just like you to close your eyes. Simply visualize the sun rising slowly in the horizon, slowly rising up. You see the lightening of the lower sky, gradually the emergence of the resplendent orange pinkish orb of the sun, slowly moving upwards in its upward ascent. Eyes closed. Just keep breathing freely. In your mind, hold this visual of the sun rising. Om Hram Udyanadhyamitramaha Om Hrim Arohanuttarandivam Om Hrum Hridrogam Namasurya Om Hraim Harimananjanashaya Om Hraum Shukeshu me Harimanam Om Hraha Ropanakasudadmasi Om Hram Atho Haridraveshu me Om Hrim Harimanannidadmase Om Hrum Udagadayamadityaha Om Hraim Vishvena Sahasa Saha Om Hraum Dvishantam Namarandhayana Om Hraha Mo Ahandvishatoradham. Now, please stand up. The sun has risen. The sun is revered as Surya Narayana, not just the solar disk, but Paramatma, the Paramapurusha, who illumines the light of the solar orb as Surya Narayana. We will now do the Surya Namaskara along with the Surya Namaskara mantra, propitiating this divine effulgence that is the sun outside, that illumines the light that is within, that illumines and therefore causes the lotus outside to bloom, but it is also the light of the Purusha within that causes the inner lotus to blossom. Surya Namaskara with Surya Namaskara mantra. You will be led by my colleague Arul Perumal. Please follow the sequence. We will be doing Surya Namaskaram with the Surya mantra. I will chant on the inhale. Please repeat on the exhale. Please stand in Samasthiti to the front of your mat. Inhale. ॐ मित्राय नमः।
ॐ मित्राय नमः।
Inhale. ॐ रवये नमः।
ॐ रवये नमः।
Inhale. ॐ सूर्याय नमः।
ॐ सूर्याय नमः।
Inhale. ॐ भानवे नमः।
ॐ भानवे नमः।
Inhale. ॐ खगाय नमः।
ॐ
Inhale. ॐ पूष्णे नमः। Start again the next cycle. ॐ हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। Inhale. मरीचये नमः।
ॐ मरीचये नमः।
ॐ आदित्याय नमः।
ॐ आदित्याय नमः।
ॐ सवित्रे नमः।
ॐ सवित्रे नमः।
ॐ अर्काय नमः।
ॐ अग्राय नमः।
ॐ भास्कराय नमः।
ॐ भास्कराय नमः।
Again. ॐ मित्राय नमः।
ॐ मित्राय नमः।
ॐ रवये नमः।
ॐ रवये नमः।
ॐ सूर्याय नमः।
ॐ सूर्याय नमः।
ॐ भानवे नमः।
ॐ भारवे नमः।
ॐ खगाय नमः।
ॐ भद्राय नमः।
ॐ पूष्णे नमः।
ॐ पूष्णे नमः।
ॐ हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः।
ॐ हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः।
ॐ मरीचये नमः।
ॐ मरीचये नमः।
ॐ आदित्याय नमः
ॐ आदित्याय नमः
ॐ सवित्रे नमः
ॐ सवित्रे नमः
ॐ अर्काय नमः
ॐ अर्काय नमः
ॐ भास्कराय नमः
ॐ भास्कराय नमः
We will do one more round of the mantra. ॐ मित्राय नमः
ॐ मित्राय नमः
ॐ रवये नमः
ॐ रवये नमः
ॐ सूर्याय नमः
ॐ सूर्याय नमः
ॐ भानवे नमः
ॐ हरवे नमः
ॐ खगाय नमः
ॐ भगाय नमः
ॐ पूष्णे नमः
ॐ पूष्णे नमः
ॐ हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः
ॐ हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः
ॐ मरीचये नमः
ॐ मरीचये नमः
ॐ आदित्याय नमः
ॐ आदित्याय नमः
ॐ सवित्रे
ॐ सवित्रे नमः
ॐ अर्काय नमः
ॐ अर्काय नमः
ॐ भास्कराय नमः
ॐ भास्कराय नमः
Now, please take a comfortable seated position. Allow your breath to settle down. For a few minutes, we will now do pranayama. Just breathe in and out. I'd like you to visualize as you do so a small closed lotus bud in the region of the heart space. With every inhale, breathe in and out very slowly. With every inhale, simply visualize petal after petal of this lotus unfurling. Slowly, with every inhale, visualize the lotus blossoming just a little bit. As you breathe out, just hold that visual. Again, on the next inhale, visualize the lotus blossoming even more, a little more. Exhale, hold this visual. Please do this till I tell you to stop. Do this for a few minutes. Visualize this lotus in your heart blossoming under the light of the sun that is now risen. With every breath, visualize it blossoming to its fullest bloom in all its pink, radiant glory. Hold this visual of the lotus in your heart space fully blossomed. The lotus is also the dwelling place of Mahalakshmi. And where does she dwell? Mahalakshmi dwells where all the Daivi Sampat belong, where there is beauty, where there is appreciation of all that's beautiful, where we clean the space. It is traditionally believed that when houses are kept very clean, when things are in their place, when fragrance surrounds our environment, when a space is well ventilated, well lit, there's a lot of air, lamps are lit, kolam rangolis are painted outside or drawn outside the homes, where food is cherished, where food is not wasted, where food is revered. These are the places that Mahalakshmi dwells. But even before the action comes the thought, and we must make ourselves eligible lotuses for Mahalakshmi to come in to reside in our. We spoke about the origin of Tulasi. Mahalakshmi also emerges out of the Samudra Mantana. She is considered the sister of Tulasi, both equally dear to Mahavishnu. She is Mula Prakriti. She represents that dynamic power that sustains this process of creation. Because without abundance of resources, how do we live? But for us to be able to understand, to appreciate, to access those resources responsibly, we need this blossoming of the inner lotus so that we evolve ourselves to a higher way of thinking, feeling, speaking, behaving. And so simply visualize that this lotus is filled with all that Mahalakshmi desires in us. The qualities of Daivi Sampat, of fortitude, of forbearance, of patience, of commitment, of discipline, of Satya, Ahimsa, Dharma, all of these. Just visualize that you're offering the best qualities of yourself as this lotus that has blossomed under the light of the sun. And now invite Mahalakshmi to take residence. Ask her to set foot into this lotus space of your heart, bringing all that she represents. Let her take seat in your heart. I share an image for you to keep in mind as you do this. I will be chanting an excerpt from the Sri Sukta. She is the one who loves lotuses, who is lotus-like. Padmini, she herself is like a blossoming lotus. She holds the lotuses in her hands and she dwells on the lotus. Her eyes are like lotus petals. She is the one, Vishwapriye, the benevolent, compassionate mother of all creation, of all that she creates. She is compassionate mother. She is the one who knows the mind of Vishnu as the closest consort of Mahavishnu. Because Mahavishnu and Mahalakshmi represent Purusha and Prakriti. She is that source, that intelligent source from which all creation stems birth. She is the one who births this cosmos. Tvat pada padmam mayi sannidhastva. May I experience the tread of your lotus feet in me, in this heart lotus that is within me. This is the prayer. I will be chanting this excerpt. We will do it 8 times, inviting the Ashtalakshmi to our heart space. Where I stop, please chant Om Shreem Shriyai Namaha. As you do this, simply visualize that you are making this lotus of your heart an inviting space, offering the very best of your potentials, of your character, of your nature. All that is the best, all that you consider your strengths. Just offer it to her, invite her to take residence in your heart space. Padmapriye Padmini Padmahaste Padmalaye Padmadalayakshi Vishwapriye Vishnumanonukule Tvatpada Padmam Mayi Sannidhastva. Om Shreem Shriyai Namaha. Padmapriye Padmini Padmahaste Padmalaye Padmadalayakshi Vishwapriye Vishnumanonukule Tvatpada Padmam Mayi Sannidhastva. Om Shreem Shriyai Namaha. Padmapriye Padmini Padmahaste Padmalaye Padmadalayakshi Vishwapriye Vishnumanonukule Tvatpada Padmam Mayi Sannidhastva. Om Shreem श्रियै नमः। पद्मप्रिये पद्मिनि पद्महस्ते पद्मालये पद्मदलायताक्षी विश्वप्रिये विष्णुमनोनुकूले त्वत्पादपद्मं मयि सन्निधस्त्व। ॐ श्रीं श्रियै नमः। पद्मप्रिये पद्मिनि पद्महस्ते पद्मालये पद्मदलायताक्षी विश्वप्रिये विष्णुमनोनुकूले त्वत्पादपद्मं मयि सन्निधस्त्व। ॐ श्रीं श्रियै नमः। पद्मप्रिये पद्मिनि पद्महस्ते पद्मालये पद्मदलायताक्षी विश्वप्रिये विष्णुमनोनुकूले त्वत्पादपद्मं मयि सन्निधस्त्व। ॐ श्रीं श्रियै नमः। पद्मप्रिये पद्मिनि पद्महस्ते पद्मालये पद्मदलायताक्षी विश्वप्रिये विष्णुमनोनुकूले त्वत्पादपद्मं मयि सन्निधस्त्व। ॐ श्रीं श्रियै नमः। पद्मप्रिये पद्मिनि पद्महस्ते पद्मालये पद्मदलायताक्षी विश्वप्रिये विष्णुमनोनुकूले त्वत्पादपद्मं मयि सन्निधस्त्व। ॐ श्रीं श्रियै नमः। Hold this visual for a few minutes. The sun shining above. The sun, the external sun, is nothing but the light of the Purusha that is within. The lotus outside blossoms in the light of the sun. The lotus of the heart blossoms with the light of Purusha, illumining it with Sattva Guna. Envision the sunlight above shining into your heart space. Your lotus is fully blossomed, fully open. Mahalakshmi is seated in the heart space. Just hold this visual for a few minutes. लक्ष्मीं क्षीरसमुद्रराजतनयां श्रीरङ्गधामेश्वरीं दासीभूतसमस्तदेववनितां लोकैकदीपाङ्कुराम् श्रीमन्मन्दकटाक्षलब्धविभव ब्रह्मेन्द्रगङ्गाधराम् त्वां त्रैलोक्यकुटुम्बिनीं सरसिजां वन्दे मुकुन्दप्रियाम्। ॐ महादेव्यै च विद्महे विष्णुपत्न्यै च धीमहि तन्नो लक्ष्मीः प्रचोदयात्. Just offer your gratitude to Mahalakshmi, whom you have invited into your heart space. Offer your gratitude, offer your prostrations. Slowly let go of this image as you retain the grace of Mahalakshmi's kataksha. Just the glance of her eyes is enough. Let that linger on you. Feel the power of that grace as I close with the Satvikati. कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि. सर्वं श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु. Thank you. Namaskaram. We meet again tomorrow, day 15 of Dhanur Dhya.